The Property Entrepreneur Program is something that Dan Hill started, I think 10 years ago now. I've been part of that program for the last year. And I'm very happy to say that although I did not win first prize, I did come third in the process. I learned a huge amount. There's some absolutely fantastic speakers. I took away a lot and learned a lot in terms of what I can do better to be a better public speaker. I enjoy the process. I enjoy the feeling afterwards, but it's definitely not something that I find sort of super easy. Property Entrepreneur of the Year. So the Property Entrepreneur Program is something that Dan Hill started, I think 10 years ago now, and it's full of ambitious property entrepreneurs that want to grow their businesses, and I've been part of that program for the last year. Earlier this week was the awards day. All of those people on the stage were fighting and gunning for Property Entrepreneur of the Year status. We started the morning with 10-minute presentations. So at the start of the year, we set goals around kind of what we want to achieve and what we want the year to be about. And the awards day starts off with that 10-minute presentation saying, have you hit your targets? What have you achieved this year? What's been your greatest successes, your biggest challenges, your biggest learnings, all that type of stuff. And then the table that you're on votes for a finalist to present later in the afternoon to the rest of the cohort of people in the group. And I was very, very lucky to have won our sort of table, being pushed through to being a finalist. And I'm very happy to say that although I did not win first prize, which was very disappointing, I did come third in the process, which is not a mean feat. There's some really good people in the group with some amazing deals, amazing stories, amazing kind of step changes in their life from where they were last week to where they are now. But it was a great opportunity to understand and hear about everyone else's journeys, what they've been up to, but also sort of test my sort of presentation skills. And I learned a huge amount. There's some absolutely fantastic speakers and really kind of natural presenters at the event. And I took away a lot and learned a lot in terms of what I can do better to be a better public speaker. And people sort of generally think that I quite enjoy getting up there and that are naturally pretty good at it. But I'm shitting my pants most of the time. Like it's not something that I do enjoy it. I enjoy the challenge of it, and I enjoy the feeling afterwards of kind of having got up there and kind of pushed myself outside of my comfort zone. Ultimately, by the time I'm getting off, I'm like, need a drink of water and I'm shaking. I'm like, oh God, I'm glad that's over. But I enjoy the process. I enjoy the feeling afterwards, but it's definitely not something that I find sort of super easy. But yeah, great to be one of the runner-ups. Some really tough competition. One of my biggest successes, which you can see on the screen, was my little boy Teddy. Obviously, he was born in November, and he is a breath of fresh air and the smiliest little baby I've ever seen. So yeah, it was nice to kind of show him off. I do remember I did have one main lead characters in one of our like school productions, and I forgot my lines. I was sort of stood there. It was incredibly embarrassing. I couldn't remember my lines, and then somebody shouted the first line from the side of the stage. So I said that line. It still wasn't good enough for me to remember the whole lot. So it was like 3 or 4 lines where basically I forgot it. Somebody said it from the side of the stage, and then I repeated it. Then I forgot it again. Somebody repeated it at the side of the stage, and I repeated it. And it eventually took a while to get in the swing of things and remember what I was actually meant to be talking about. But looking back, like that's probably the most like traumatic time that I've had up on stage in some sort of like public speaking, like theatre performance. But yeah, when I'm talking about something I know about and I've prepared the deck, it becomes, I think, then more about saying the things you want to say, keeping that sort of cadence and momentum, entertaining where you can, like throwing in the odd joke and hopefully presenting it as best you can. But I don't find it easy. I do enjoy the satisfaction afterwards, the fact that I've kind of, that the challenge is there and I've sort of overcome the challenge. I've done it. As soon as you come off the stage, like, oh shit, yeah, I should have said that, or I messed that up. I get that, and I think everyone kind of probably goes through the same thing. But yeah, I think the presentations went fairly well yesterday. I mean, I came third, so it must have been all right. There's definitely an amount of, in this type of thing, I probably should have added a bit more emotion and maybe shed some tears around kind of the difficulties that I've had and stuff like that. And I think that would have helped.
If this video resonates with you and you can take away just one thing into your business which will make it better, then creating this video has been a success. If you do get value and are getting value, click subscribe down below. That would mean so much. Back to the video.
Biggest lesson, time is money effectively. With all developments, with all, property, when you're holding debt and projects get delayed, you are basically just pissing money against the wall. All that profit margin that you think you've got baked into your scheme just starts to dissipate and dissipate and dissipate. And yeah, that's one of the key things I think this year has been, made very clear, that time is just crucial to keep everything on program and to be as fast as you can delivering sites that you can be. One thing that I haven't touched on yet actually is that there's also deal of the year. So around our individual tables, we we all present a deal, and that also gets nominated to the finalist to get up on stage and present again to the rest of the team. And I was nominated for that as well. So I was finalist for Deal of the Year, finalist for Property Entrepreneur of the Year. So it was a very successful day. This deal kind of was a solid kind of 20% return on gross development value for us, like sort of the typical type of thing that you want to look for when you go into a development. But it was smashed out of the water by Mark Powell, the Powell brothers down in the Southwest. And they absolutely killed it. It was a very similar deal to St. Helens Mill, which you've heard us talk about before, where office conversion to, I think it was 11 flats, got all of the money out on refinance, baked in £1 million worth of equity, have a net cash flow position every month of about 12 grand. It was an absolute stonking deal. So fair play to them. He sort of said all that, and that in itself is an incredible deal. And then he was like, oh yeah, and we've got some land at the side that we're going to build 8 flats on. It's the gift that keeps on giving for them, I think. So fair play to them. And hopefully we can create some more deals of the year and be finalists and potential winners again next year as well.
If you got value from this video, make sure you click the subscribe button down below and ring the notification bell, because we release one video at least every week, so you'll be the first to get notified. See you on the next one.